Hey, good morning, everybody. Denise with Lazy K Mountain Homestead. Hope y'all are doing well the day after 4th of July. We are. Willis and I are busy cooking, and I'm going to make some blackberry jelly today. Not jam, jelly. So it's a little bit different than just using your blackberries, the pulp and everything. We're actually going to cook them down right now. I've got 12 cups in here in a pot. Let's see if you can see them. Oh, it's kind of hard to see them in there. Let's see if I can bring that down. Wow, that's really dark. There you go. You can see them there. It's so dark in our house. Stays cool that way. But anyway, 12 cups of blackberries and 1 cup of water. I've got them on medium heat, and what I'm going to do is just let them plump up and get all that juice out of there. Then I'm going to put them in the food mill and get all of the juice out, and then we'll proceed from there. So hope you'll stick with us. Okay, guys, we're back. I've got my blackberries boiling. Now you want to do this for at least 15 minutes because you want them to plump up and the juice comes out. These are blackberries that we picked over the last week or so. We kept them in the freezer. If you got the really big, juicy ones that you get from the store, they may not take quite as long as these little tiny ones that we have. So what I'm going to do now, oh, the whole house smells like blackberries. So good. I'm going to take my potato masher. Usually everybody has one of these. And I'm just going to kind of smash these blackberries down. Now the steam is a little hot, so just remember that in case you don't like steam on you, but it's not like it's burning me or anything. So I'm just mashing these down. Now if you were going to make jam, this is the step that you would use, and then you'd put your pectin and everything in there. But I'm making jelly. And the reason is blackberry seeds are a little hard on our teeth. So thought we'd go ahead and make some jelly. All right. There we go. Got my food mill out. This is a food mill. You can get them plastic now. This is an oldie but a goodie, just like me. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this down on low because I've got the juice. And I am using Mrs. Wage's low sugar or zero sugar fruit pectin. That's what we use because you use so much less sugar and it tastes great. I've been using this for years since I found it. So we are going to use between 2 and 3 cups of sugar, and I always use 2. That's what the recipe always calls for. The inside of your packet gives you your instructions, and luckily I tore the one that was jam. So this is jelly. And what you do is you just scan down here whatever fruit. And I'm making blackberry. And it said I needed 12 cups of blackberries. And what to do there as far as getting the juice. So I need 4 to 5 cups of juice, 1 cup of the pectin, which is powdered. And then I need 2 to 3 cups of sugar, which I will get out and measure in a minute. And it will give me 5 to 6 half pints, which are these. So if you want to do full pints, it would probably be 3. Okay, so I'm going to put that up there and just let that cook down a little bit. And what I'm going to do in the meantime is get everything ready. One thing I do want to tell you about blackberries or any kind of fruit that has a color, wear an apron if you can because they will stain everything you have, unless you don't mind that. I mean, it could come out to be tie-dye or something. So I'm going to go ahead and get my sugar measured out. That's a very important step because everything after we get the juice back, I guess, squeezed out of this, and we're going to put it back in here, and then we're going to go ahead and proceed with the jelly. Jelly is so easy to make. Jam is so easy to make. I know a lot of people are scared of making it, but believe me, it is so easy and so much fun, and it tastes so good. So I'll be back in a minute. Okay, let's see if I can move that up a little bit closer. We're going to go ahead and put our blackberries in our food mill, and then we're going to go ahead and squeeze all of that juice out. And again, we want to get 5 to 6 cups. So it's going to be a little bit of a mess. I try to not be too messy. I'm just going to put all of this in here as much as you can. And then just turn this handle and all that wonderful juice will come out of here. Oh, it smells so good. Man. Love it. So in the meantime, while this was boiling and plumping all of these berries up and getting all of the juice out, oh, it's so beautiful. I went ahead and measured out my 3 cups of sugar. I've got that ready over here. I've got my jar sanitized and filled with hot water. And over here, let me see, I've got my boiling water bath canner. Now, if you don't have a boiling water bath canner, that's not a problem. You can use a stock pot just like this. Just as long as your jars are going to fit in it and you'll have at least an inch of water for a headspace. Then you can use a stock pot just like this. Okay, I'm going to continue to put all this in here because I think it will all fit. That way it'll just be one time I have to do this. Oh, the color is amazing. I am a purple person. I love purple. It's always been my favorite. And so blackberry to me is purple. Let's get all these babies out here. There we go. Set it over here because I'm going to reuse that pot. I just have to rinse it out in a minute. But here we've got this, and try to get a little bit closer so you can see what I've got. There you go. And we're just going to go ahead and twirl this around. I think that you can get plastic ones now that our electric can do this. Kind of nice. I don't mind being old-fashioned because that's just who I am. It's kind of splattering a little bit, but that's okay. Alright, let me go get another bowl. I'll be right back. The reason I got another bowl is because I want to be able to pour the juice in here, and I don't want it to go everywhere. It is splattering. My little spring on the bottom is really splattering it everywhere. Alright, let's see here what we've got. This is a 4-cup measure. Oh, that looks so good. Now, I don't want to get too much of the pulp because it'll make it a little bit thicker and it'll be kind of like jam. But, I mean, that's okay as long as I don't have the seeds in there. So we're going to go ahead and remove that. Put that here. And now I'm going to use my... Yeah, isn't that pretty? Look at the color on that. Can you see that? Wow. I'll go ahead and ladle it in here and just see what we've got. Is that a berry? Or is it just me? No, it's just me. Now, if I don't have quite enough, the 5 to 6 cups, I can always add water. All right, let me see. Now that's hot. Okay, I've got exactly 4. So what I'm going to do is just add a little bit of water to this, and that is perfectly fine for jelly. Okay, I'll be right back because I've got to wash out my pan. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pour this 4 cups of the juice right in that pot that I just washed up. And like I said, I want to make myself 1 more cup. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in there. Now I'm just going to get some water here from the tap. Kind of swirl it around with all that good blackberry goodness. And I'm going to pour it in here till I come to 1 cup. Hey, that was pretty good. Right on. All right. There we go. So we're going to pour it in here with our juice. See what I mean about a mess? Blackberries make a mess. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and set this right over here. Set it aside on the island behind me. And we are going to bring our juice to a rolling boil. Now what that means, if you're not familiar, we are going to make sure that it is a boil where if you go to stir it, you can't stir the boil down. It's continually boiling. Oh, and I do want to put my pectin in here too. So we'll go ahead and put that in there. And I've got it. I'm going to put it on medium. And it will slowly come to that rolling boil. And that's 1 box of the pectin. This is a mess, but I'm still going to use it. I've got my jars over here with the hot water in them. Everything's ready to go. That's really important when you're canning anything, to make sure you got everything ready to go and you're not having to stop and do things like I always do. So we got that going. I'm going to go ahead and come back as soon as we get to that rolling boil. Cover up this mess here. There we go. Have your sugar measured out, which I do, 3 cups right here. Because once that comes to the rolling boil, we're going to put that sugar in, then we got to come back to a boil. So see you in a minute. All right, we are back and we are at a full rolling boil. I can't stir it down. So what I'm going to do is pour all of my 3 cups of white sugar in there. There we go. We're going to go ahead and just stir this around till it's all incorporated in there, so no lumps or anything. Oh man, it smells so good. Willa said there's more blackberries ready, so we'll probably be doing that this evening once it cools down a little bit. Start another bag. So this was 12 cups of fresh blackberries. And then I followed the Mrs. Wage's recipe. So that was 3 cups of white sugar and a packet of the pectin. That's it. Now, it took about 5 minutes for it to come to a rolling boil the first time. We're going to go ahead and do that again, so it'll probably be another 5 minutes. I'll keep an eyeball on it. You do want to keep an eye on it, and I usually try to keep it at medium so you don't scorch. And I just saw a gnat flying in here because I've got fresh vegetables from the garden. It's almost time to can. I'm so excited. So I'm going to go ahead and let this come to a rolling boil. Then I'm going to time it for 1 minute only with the pectin. Now there are old-fashioned recipes where you don't use pectin boxed or liquid. You use the pectin from the fruit itself. Now that's a totally different animal, and I can get into that some other time, but I don't want to confuse you on this. But we're going to go ahead and we'll be back in just a few minutes. Okay, here we are. It came to a boil, and I timed it for 1 minute. I'm going to remove it from the heat, and then I'm going to go ahead and move my water bath canner over here onto this because we're going to put our jars in there. And I'm going to keep that on low for now. Okay, now there might be a little bit of foam. This really doesn't have a lot of foam, and it doesn't bother me to have foam. If you don't like foam on the top of your jelly or your jams, you can put a little pat of butter, which is like a teaspoon of butter, Just mix it around in there and it should take your foam off. Or you can skim it off. Okay, so I've got everything here. Got my canning funnel, which I didn't have out earlier. Got all my jars in a row. And make sure you're on a level surface so nothing tips over. I've got my rings and my lids in warm water. I had them boiling because we're going to need them. All right, so here we go. Oh, it's so pretty. Hold on, let me see if I can get that out of the way so you guys can see what I'm doing here. Yeah, there we are. It's like, why have a video if you can't see what's going on? You're just pouring into space. You want to leave a 1/2 inch headspace. So that means from the top of your jar to a 1/2 inch down, guesstimation. It doesn't have to be like a super, get out the measuring tape kind of thing. So, but isn't that pretty? Now this is probably a little bit thicker than a jelly if I hadn't put it through the food processor, but I love it. It's going to be wonderful. If I wanted just really straight juice, I would have boiled them down like I did and then put them in cheesecloth and just let them drain. And that would have gave you just straight juice. But I like to do it this way. It's the way I learned a long time ago, and I consider it jelly. I just love the sound of it pouring in there. So I don't know. I always tell Willis, I should have been born a long time ago. And we've said that to people before, and they're like, no, you shouldn't have been born a long time ago because you're here to keep the traditions alive. So that kind of makes me happy too. And I may have a little bit more, but I can add to some of these. Or maybe I'll be right on. I've got 7 of these 1/2 pints. It said 5 to 6, but I think somebody was lying. Let's see what we've got here. Add to that one. Add a little bit to this one here. And that one. So this is what I do. I just kind of go back through and add more. I know I need some on that one. So I don't need any more 1/2 pints. There we go. Need some more on that one. Oh, it's already thickening up. I'm so excited. All right, let's see what this guy has. He needs a little bit more too. So for this, 7 1/2 pints was perfect. Okay, I think that's it. Oops. Stick that over there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and come back with a wet cloth, and I'm going to wipe each one of these down, the rim and around the rim where the ring would go, because it's very important that you get any kind of jelly off of there, because the seal won't seal, and then you'll have a bad jar. And I don't mean that as far as you can't eat it, because you can stick it in the fridge and use it. You just can't store it in the cupboard. I had that happen to some of my peach, and it may have been because I didn't get all of the peach off of there. I try really hard to do that. Alright, I just like to go right around here. Especially if you've got fruit like blackberries or strawberries that have tiny little seeds. And I don't have any seeds in this, but if you were, you would find that the seeds like to stick in the grooves on the rings around there. Okay, I think I got everybody. Let me just go one more time around everybody so I know I did. Better safe than sorry. That's what I always say. Make sure. Okay, so we'll throw that in the trash. I remember growing up that the old ladies used to use their apron. They would just dip it because it was, you know, cotton, and it was just a thing. So we're going to take each one of our lids that are warm. Yes, and I like them warm because I feel like it still gives a good seal. That rubber on there gets a little soft and it creates a really good suction. Somebody that I knew not a long time ago, a few years ago, she said to me, "Oh, you still warm your seals?" I said, "Yeah." She's older than me. And I said, "Yeah." I said, "If it's not broke, don't fix it." Because she said, "Oh, you're so old-fashioned." I said, "Well, I think I'd give it the best opportunity to seal, you know?" Okay, what we're doing here is we're just putting our rings on and we're just hand tightening. Everybody's just hand tight. Now these jars are going to be hot, but you can lift them up like this. We're going to put them in here. And if I don't have enough water for an inch headspace, we'll go ahead and add, which I think we don't. Got this water here from my pan. And you're going to want to add hot water. So, and like I said, at 1 inch headspace. And then we're going to go ahead and bring these to another rolling boil. That's our theme. And I always make sure it comes to a full rolling boil, and then I start the time. And I like to time these for 10 minutes. Some recipes will say 5 minutes. I like to go 10 because that just makes it, for me, it's security that you gave the jars, because what they do is contract and expand with the water, and that way they're sealing, you know, and 10 minutes is a good rule of thumb for me. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on high. And I say that because a lot of people like to argue, and I don't like to argue. I'm just telling you the way I do it. So hopefully you'll try. Okay, we'll be back, and I will show you what it looks like with a rolling boil, and then we'll start the time. Okay, guys, as promised, I want to show you it boiling, rolling boil. The steam is around here, so be careful. There it is, boiling. You can see it, rolling boil. I'm going to go ahead and start the timer at 10 minutes, and we'll be back after that. But I just want to tell you what you're going to do is 10 minutes, turn your heat off, slide it over to the middle of your stove if you can, and take the lid off and let it sit in there for at least 10 minutes before you bring it out. Now, if you've got air conditioning running, you're going to want to shut your air conditioner off because it's going to be scalding hot lava in there. I usually turn mine off for about 10 minutes before I'm going to bring those jars out. Some people don't, but I just think that's best to do. But anyway, so we'll see you when we have it cooled and on our tea towels. And what I do is I usually have a good layer of tea towels here and make sure they're not wet or anything. So, see you in a few.